Hello, today I am going to be featuring a very special tarot deck and it's called Ghetto Tarot. Now, this tarot was actually photographed in Haiti. And then when I say photograph, that is correct. It was done with live people. Um, what the artist tried to do was mimic the Rider Waite deck, and she did a wonderful job at doing that. Now the bag that I have it featured on here was done by Luz, and she has a tarot boutique on Etsy, and I'll put the link below. So if you do want to have her make anything special for you or do a bag like this, she's able to do it, and she does it beautifully and very affordable. Now here we have a theme that goes very well with the deck. It has some seashells and some charm and a lovely lady. They're nicely made bag. Now I had to have something special for this deck, and you'll see why. Now these photos, like I said, they were photographed in Haiti. I'm going to show you every card of the deck, but I'm going to also show it to you side by side by the original deck of Rider Waite, so you could actually see how much similarity she did. She did her best to portray the card as original as the Rider Waite and using whatever she had available. So with the first of the card that I have here, we'll have the full. So this is the original Rider Waite's card, and this is her photograph here that she had filmed and or taken a picture of. So as you can see there, the stick, he's holding the stick with a bag and everything. He even has a flower in his hand, and there's a cute dog at the heel of his foot. And she did a wonderful job portraying it in the ghetto slum of Haiti. And so she has him standing there on top of a brick and did a wonderful job. So those two cards very well resemble each other. We'll move on to the Magician. Now the Magician card, look at that. I love the background that she used here with the green background, and then she had him dressed in a similar color. He's holding also a rod on his hand. He has over his forehead, he has like a crown, just like featured here in the original card. And so there's the table with all the same elements. So you have your coins, your sword. In this case, they use the machete, and they have the cup, and they have the wands. Wonderful. Look at that. This is the high priest, and with the high priest, she did a beautiful job. She both portrayed both the initial on the background between the rod. She has her dress, and in her hand there she has the cross in the center, also in the center. For the crown, she used, got creative and used horns and a plate there with some cup to portray the similarity in the crown. She even put here at the side where there's like a moon on her feet, and so she has her flowing outfit, and here she has the Torah as well as she has here holding the crown. The Empress. So the Empress is sitting beautifully here, comfortable. Also here we have a beautiful Empress here, and they both holding a rod. And she has many stars here. She has one big star here. The background where it's, a little bit more lush with vegetation going in the background. Here is the symbol there. And so did a beautiful job. I believe she's sitting on a boat there, on the back of a boat. We have the Emperor, so similar in the red outfit as far as what it symbolized. Here we have the beer, so they gave him a beer also, and then we have the crown. We have him sitting on a stack of brick, and here he's sitting on his mighty chair, so that's a beautiful portrait there. The Hierophant. And so with the Hierophant, he also held his hand in the same position that he did here, holding a rod. So they made him a rod. Here's a red cape. In this case, he's have a red outfit. also wearing a crown, both wearing a crown, and he has his discipleship at his feet. So I'm not sure if you ever noticed here that he also has two children at his foot of his feet. The lover card. Now, the lover card, we do have two couples that are actually naked, and she did it in such a fine taste where she cut it off right to the point before you see in her breast. And so we have the two couple in between a divine figure here. They use a statue in the background there. Very lovely. The chariot. So with the chariot, we have him even, I love the similarity in the outfit that she used. We have the crown, both on the crown. And so she had him sitting up high on a can, a long can there. And to represent the black horse and the white horse, so she did, just got very creative in putting maybe a black figure here and a whiter figure. And so he's representing the chariot. The strength card. So with the strength card, we have the lady here petting the lion and calming it down. And so what she used, she had the gal holding a statue of a lion. And so she's caressing. She also has it on her forehead, on her head, a crown of flowers where she portrayed it too, and brought that over a little bit here. Some of the flower also portrayed there. We have the hermit card, and in the hermit card we have the man that's standing alone with the rod. So she also had him standing alone. I love that she had him standing on the entrance of this door, which has beautiful colors. So we have this beautiful teal color with this beautiful blue color here. They both holding a lantern, and they both have their head covered like in a hood. The Wheel of Fortune. Now this would have been a hard card to portray. And so what she did, she carried all the symbols and the drawing into the sidewalk. And so she used chalk and had that drawn and did a wonderful job. So that was very nice. We have the Justice card. And in the Justice card, he's holding the sword on one hand, as well here he's holding a machete, and on the other hand he's holding the scale. So she had a photo of a scale where he will be holding. They both drape in red cloth, so he's dressed in dress cloth. He's actually in a staircase, very fitting for it, both wearing a crown. Good job. We have here the hangman, and so with the hangman, it's famously known for hanging on one foot with his leg crossed, which she had him done also. What she did was she actually had him on a ladder, and so he's upside down. Now the trick to this card was that the way she filmed it, she's actually standing upright. So she gave the illusion that he was upside down. So that's how she was able to do without him actually hanging from the ladder. So she did a wonderful portrayal there. We have the death card, and in this death card it's a little bit different, where he's the death skeleton is riding on a horse, a white horse. Now since it was a little bit harder to find live animal as far as a horse to do this photo, she had the death card, and he's dressed in black instead, and he's holding a skeleton in his hand. In this hand he's holding a rod, but he is holding a rod also, but in the top of the rod there's a skeleton. And then on the back, to portray death, there's many skulls here in the background. She used some sheets in the back to portray this one. So this one she went a little bit more creative and on her own. The Temperance card, and with the Temperance card we have here the angel, and it has two cups, one flowing the water from one cup into the other, and so it has the wing and it has her foot over the water. So she did is that she had her dress also in the same flow of dress. There's the triangle in the center where she had it also portrayed. She gave her some wings, some light wings there. She also has her on the foot stepping into the water, portraying there, and so she has both cup and one pouring into the other. we have the devil car. And in the devil car, again, probably was going to be a little bit difficult to portray that, so she went on her own interpretation here. But she has basically the devil right in the center. And here, this is probably done out of paper mache. And so he's really a really unattractive person, let's just say. Coming out of his eyes and mouth is the snake flowing out of his mouth. And so the typical Rider's Way devil has both couple naked and being in bondage by chain. So this one's just a little bit different, but still good. And so we have the tower car. Now the tower car was going to be hard having somebody fall off the tower. She had here a building that's isolated like the tower, even has some of the windows I thought was interesting in the same position. And so she had it at it where she had these two people falling out of the tower. She did a really good job on that. Here, I'm going to bring this one a little bit closer just because it is a little bit harder to see, but as you see it there. The image on this one is just a little bit blurry, but it's still you able to determine what you're seeing in that car. Then we move to the star car. And so with the star car, which has the big giant star right in the center, so she put also a big giant star in, and on the side it has array of different stars going. So she also put some smaller stars going there. Now here we have a naked woman, as she has also portrayed here, where she has some jar and water coming out of both ends. So she had her whole two jars representing the water. She's in a similar position as she is kneeled down. So she gave her similar position where her arm covers her breast, and yet her leg being in this position also cover a little more of her intimate body. The moon car. So the moon car, we have the sun and also the moon in one there. And so she had a draw, and she used cardboard around here and wood in the center, and took some chalk and drew the same outline of the sun and the moon there. As the tower in between both, she used some cardboard and put it to the back of the concrete wall. Got creative by here also doing the dog and the coyote next to each other just like this, and she did a black outline and made a paper and cut and put it there. And of course we have the lobster here going up and going there, so she used a blue painted wall as to symbolize the water. Good job. The sun car. And for the sun car, here we have a child on a horse. So she also portrayed it with a child, and so instead, since she did not use a live horse, it was hard for her to do that. She used the head is kind of a toy figure of a horse. Now on the background, she had drawn the sun, which we have the ray of sun as she portrayed there, and then with the kid actually having his hand up in the air, of joy. It was nice that this child is dressed, so she didn't go with the naked child, and that's appreciated. I'm sure the mother of the child is happy to see her child with clothes instead of being naked here. And so this is representing the red cloth, so she had a red crepe over the child. We have the judgment card. And so the judgment card is where it has the angel blowing the trumpet. So that one, she got creative, and she made an image using a lot of stuff that she probably had kicking around. So there's the head of a doll. Not sure what the body is composed of there, but there she cut out some wings to represent in the wing, and had it hanging on a wire in the middle of the people. Now this is actually filmed in a grave, and so she had the people representing by putting their arms in a similar position here, like he has his arm praising on both positions. And then we have other people in the background, which she portrayed by one person there. And then the lady, in this figure, they're naked, but it's nice to see them with clothes here. And so in this figure, we have the lady holding out her arm, and so she had this person actually holding out her arm. The World car. Beautiful. Now, here in the World car is where it's covered in a reef. So what she did, she edited and she put this nice reef, similar in an oval shape here as well as here. And this look like is a car wood framing, and she used a very nice wood framing from Haiti. And then she had the gal in the center put her legs in the similar position, the same. They both holding rods in their hand, and she had her dress in a nice outfit, and she positioned it in a beautiful spot where it covers her breast and it covers her bottom here. But we have the woman right in the center. Nice. And then we'll move to the minor arcana, and we'll start with the Ace of Cup. And so the Ace of Cup is where you have a cup in the center overflowing. So she had the cup in the center of the photo, and actually she had the water dripping from the top. And so the second of cup is where there's two cups holding a cup, and so she had two cup also holding the cup. And here we have the caudulus, and excuse my English, there's certain words that I do pronounce with an accent are a little bit harder for me to pronounce also. So she had it portrayed by a wooden statue there. She used to portray the wing in between them, a little bit of a different element. She actually put, and this card doesn't have it in place since the snake are climbing up the rod. She actually put the snake here at the bottom. And then the Three of Cups is where we have some ladies dancing with each of them holding a cup. So she had also some ladies there, and I like that the center one has a red outfit, so she draped her in a red outfit, and then the other one has the white outfit. They all holding golden cups, which these were cups that she had them paint, and there's the ladies both celebrating. The Four of Cups. So on the Four of Cups, and she did an excellent job, by the way. He's standing against the tree, as well as here he is standing against the tree. She has him looking down with the same anguish in the facial expression there. There's a cup coming from the air, just one cup coming from the air. So she has somebody holding a cup there also, being offered to him as well as here. And then there's the three cups in front of him, and so she put three cups also in front of him. We have the Five of Cups. In the Five of Cups, here we have him dressed in black, as well as here same head position looking down. I find that this one is more dramatic, and so here we have three cups right on his foot before him, as well as three cups here, and then two cups behind him, as well as two cups behind him. And so since here we have the flowing water, she had actually, it looks like maybe a flooded area that she used to represent that. And so the Six of Cups is where there's two children, one the boy holding the cup, and so she also had a boy holding the cup up to the little girl, as well as in the photo here. And so, and right before them, in this one it has the cup in the front, and so she used five cups here, and so that will be the six, five here, six there. And so this is the Five of Cups, the Six of Cups here. Now this is the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is where there's all these different elements up in the air, stuff that a person wish or desire. And so she edited this photo where they had all the cups. So the seven cups are up floating in the air. Here there's the outline of the person, as so she had them positioned in the same way to do that outline where it's matching. Then we have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups, here we have the person with his back towards us, and so she also had him dressed in red, then overlooking the scenery. Beautiful. She did a wonderful job. I'm gonna keep saying that she did a wonderful job because she served all the props. These are really amazing cards, and So if I keep repeating myself, well, she deserved the praise for doing these. And so then we have the all 8 cups here at the bottom as well as here. And this is the 9 of cup. So the 9 of cup, here we have the person sitting on the center. She also had him sitting on the center with the arm crossed. She gave him a red turban on the head just as well. And then we have the 9 cups all behind him on a raise. So she did put all 9 cups also on the back. The happy car, the happy family car is the 10 of cups. So we have the 10 of cup here in a rainbow on the arch there. So she had a rainbow drawn on the background, and instead she put the cups here at the bottom. We have the couple there with their arms stretched up holding each other by the waist, and so she had 2 couples holding there, and the 2 children playing there side by side, and so she also had 2 children playing. Then we have the page of cup. So the page of cup, here we have a young person holding a cup with a fish coming out. So she also had him hold the cup in the same position there, or the body is in the same position. She also had a fish as well as there coming out of the cup, and so they both have a turban over the head. Okay, the 9 of cup, and the 9 of cup, he's riding a horse. So she got creative instead, and she had him riding a bicycle, and so he's holding the cup upright as well as here. And for a helmet, she gave him a construction hat helmet there, and so this was a very creative and nice way to do the 9 of cup. We have the Queen of Cup. In the Queen of Cup, here we have her sitting on a throne. Instead, she had her sitting on some rocks wall. And so here there's a lot of pebble at her foot as well as here, and then water flowing. So she had here probably a creek there, or some where water is actually, oh, I see where the water is coming from now. It's coming here from this pipe here, and so there's water flowing. And so she is holding the this mighty cup, and here she made a replica as best as she could out of 2 cups, one over the other. They both wearing a crown as well as here. The King of Cup, and the King of Cup, he's sitting here on a mighty throne. So she had him sitting there probably on something made out of wood, probably an old cabinet or something, looks like it. And he's holding the cup on one hand as well as here, as holding, she has him holding a rod. So they're both holding a rod. They both have crown and a fancy outfit. Now the Ace of Sword. At the Ace of Sword, instead she calls it the Ace of Machete. And machete is a large knife that is used a lot in Haiti, and so it's kind of a classic knife. And so here we have the hand holding the sword, as well as she has the hand holding a sword. And since there's smoke here, what she does is I don't know if you can see the sparks there. There's some sparks here and smoke going on in the background. So the 2 of Swords is where there's a lady holding 2 swords. So she had her holding 2 machete, both dressed in white as well. And so here she's wearing a bandana. I would have to say a bandana or some kind to cover over her eyes. So she had her eyes also covered. And now in the background there's a water scene here. So she had her with the background scene also with water. The 3 of Swords, and the 3 of Swords is the one that has the heart with 3 swords going through it. So she drew on the ground with probably chalk, and she had 3 machete positioned in the same way, where 1 in the center, 2 crossing over. So she had to cross it over. And then there's clouds on this background, so she drew some clouds there. And if raining, so she drew the rays here representing the rain. And so here we have the 4th sword, and on the 4th sword there's 3 swords upright there, so she had 3 machete there. One sword here, 1 machete there. Have him lying down on, she had him lying down on a crate there, and he's positioned the same body way with the hands being held in front of him, same position. And then she got creative by seeing this is a stained glass, so instead she put an artwork to represent the stained glass. The 5 of Swords. In the 5 of Swords, here we have a man holding up 2 swords upright. So she had him holding 2 machete upright. Here he has 1 sword in his hand, so he also has 1 machete in his hand. Well, there's 2 other swords laying on the ground. And in the background scene, she also put a man facing the back here. There's a man facing towards the water, so she has him also facing out that way. And I like that since it's cloudy here, she also portrayed this photo where it's also cloudy. We have this 6 of Swords. Let me see. Are we up to the 6? Yes. Oh, I think the 7. This is the 7. I apologize. And so, no, this is the 6. And the 6 of Swords is where they're on a boat. And here we have the man holding the rod, so she also had them sitting on a boat, and here he's paddling, and so she had him on the beach water, and there's all the swords in front of the boat, as well as it's portrayed here. Now this is the 7 of Swords. In the 7 of Swords, here we have a person that's running away with 5 swords. So she had him portrayed in the same body position as he's running away with 2 swords on one side, as well as here, and 3 swords on this side. She had him put there. And so, and the 2 remaining swords were sitting upright, so she had it positioned also upright. The 8 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords where the lady is bounded by some, she's wearing a red outfit and she's bounded there, so she had her wear a red cloth, also bounded, and there again the eyes are being covered there. The sword stands upright. All 8 of Swords are standing upright, so she also put in the ground the sword standing upright. And then we have the 9 of Swords. In the 9 of Swords, we have here all 9 swords against the background. So she had it put up on the wall, and here we have the lady lying on her bed, as well as here, upright position, same position she put her, with some blanket being draped over her. So she put here also draping over her. I love the color of this card, by the way. And then the 10 of Swords. In the 10 of Swords, there's 10 swords, all of them being stabbed on the back. So she got creative. She had the guy also laying on the ground, and she put the swords also standing upright. The Page of Machete. In the Page of Swords, in this case she called it machete, they're standing in the same position with a sword being held upright. The 9 of Machete. And the 9 of Machete, he's riding a horse, determined. So instead she had him riding the bus. They both have on their arms stretched out with the sword. He's wearing a helmet and he is wearing a hard hat. The Queen of Swords, and both sitting with a sword in their hand, with one arm being stretched out. The King of Swords and the King of Swords, they're both in the sitting position with the sword being held upright. I see that here. The background detail, she carried it over and tried to simulate it as best as she could. The Ace of Pentacles, and so the Ace of Pentacles is where there's one pentacle in the center, so she drew like a pentacle, golden, both golden in color. And this one is being held by the hand. This one's a little bit different, is being held by some old, not sure what you call that, it's what comes from the car, what holds the car tire. So rim. Anyway, it'll come to me later. And so then there's the two of pentacle, and so where he's juggling the pentacle, and so here we have two pentacle coins also on his hand, golden coin, and she tried to put him in a similar position. I like that since the two pentacle is tied by an infinity rope, so she used some rope here also to do the same shape of the infinity sign. And then this is the three of pentacle, and so in the three of pentacle here we have one person on a higher ledge here, so she put him on a staircase also, and they both holding a cup in their hand. And so here there's a couple with what seems maybe something she's holding, maybe a child or not sure what it is that she's holding there, but and also she has a couple there holding the, also something white in their hand, and so that was very creative to come out similar. She also carried the symbol of the three pentacle on the top, so she had also three symbol of the pentacle also on top. And so here we have the four of pentacle, and so we have the person where he's holding tightly to one of the pentacle, so she had him in a similar position as well, holding the center pentacle. Here we have him sitting with a crown. She gave him also a crown and one pentacle over the head, one also there. He is stepping on two pentacle, one on each foot, so she has him also stepping on two pentacle. The five of pentacle, and the five of pentacle is where they're out in a storm, and so she also portray the look of having a storm just as well here. So here we have in this case I think that's not sure if it's a man or woman, but a person is walking there ahead, so she had him walking there ahead. And so here's the cripple, and I'm not sure who's the cripple in the photo here, but basically the two person out in the cold, she put them out before them, and then the five pentacle coins on top, so she put the five pentacle coins right here on the top. The six of pentacle, and in the six of pentacle here we have the coins all around encasing the card, so she put also the coins here representing each coin as well. And so here we have the rich person in the center, as well as she put him in the center with the red cloth on both cards represented. Now here there's a scale, and what they have here is a homemade version of a scale. And so here's the coins coming out of his hand, and so there's also some golden coins coming out of his hand, while the two person in the bottom are receiving the coins. She also put two person in the bottom receiving the coins. The seven of pentacle, and the seven of pentacle here we have all the coins coming out of the flow of the vegetation. So she has a tree here representing the vegetation, and then all seven coins also on the bottom here standing overlooking. And so he's holding a rod here he's holding a pick there, and so he's also looking, has his hand in similar position and looking down on what is producing for him. The eight of pentacle, in the eight of pentacle here he's working away with the hammer and the nail, so she had him also did a homemade hammer there and skilling away at the coin, so she put him also working at the coin. They both kind of on a workstation there. Since the coins are coming before the wood here, so she put a tree, she has a tree right there, and instead she put the coins all coming around him. And then we have the nine of pentacle. In the nine of pentacle there's the lady holding a bird, so she has a lady there holding the same body position, and here she has probably a statue bird that was made. And then we have all the coins all around her, so she also placed all the golden coin around her. The Ten of Pentacle. In the Ten of Pentacle, we have here a couple, one dressed in red, and so she also had a couple there, and one is dressed in red, and so there's the person that is sitting here with a dog before him. So she had a person also sitting there. There's a child in this photo, as well as here there's the child. And so she put, instead of putting all the 10 coins around, she conveniently put it all the in an orderly fashion, all the coins. The Page of Pentacle. And so here we have a person being held in the same body position, similar there, holding a coin, and as well as there. And so here he has a red turban, so she had him also wear a red turban. The Knight of Pentacle, he's riding a horse, a black horse, so she had him instead riding a black motorcycle. Very creative. And so as the Pentacle again, he's wear Knight of Pentacle, he's wearing a helmet, he's wearing a hard hat, and there is the coin that's being right before him, so she had a golden coin also put right before him. The Queen of Pentacle, and she's sitting lovely there in her throne with vegetation coming around her, so she also had her sitting with vegetation. Now she's holding the coin by both hands, so she had her also hold the coin by both hands. The King of Pentacle, and they're both sitting and holding the same similar position. They're both wearing crowns, beautiful outfits. There's one coin being held on his hand as well, and so here he's holding a rod, so she made him a rod also. The Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is where it has the wand in the center being held by a hand. So she actually had a wand, and since the ace represents fire, she had a flame of fire coming out in the center. The Two of Wands, and so he's overlooking at with a globe in his hand, so she gave him a globe, had him holding a globe, and overlooking also in the same position. There's the two wands. Instead she used the broom, so there's two broom representing the wands. The Three of Wands is where he has his back to us, so she had him put in the same position. He has a red cloth, so she gave him a red cloth. There's three wands, and she put three brooms. The Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands, there's four wands standing upright, so she also have four sticks standing upright. There's a wreath of floral in between it, so she ties some Christmas ornament fern in between to represent. Now in the fourth, there's a Four of Wands. There's a couple there dancing with their hands up, so she has a couple there. And let me bring it in closer so you can see it. There's a couple there with their hands upright. There's the Five of Wands where they're battling, so she had them also battling. As the wands, she has each of them holding a broomstick, and so she put them in similar position to represent from the card, and that was very creative. The Six of Wands, so he's actually riding a horse, and so she got creative to make it seem like a horse. So she has him on a drape curtain there with the head of the horse, so she has the horse. And so as also there's a wreath here, so she has some Christmas ornament to do a wreath there. They both wearing on top of the head a floral ornament, so she also gave him floral ornament. He's draped in red cloth as well as here, and even on the background there's people on the background holding the rod, so she has some people on the background holding the broomstick. And so here we have the Seven of Wands. In the Seven of Wands, there is actually 6 wands coming out of the ground. So she had that portray also. He's standing above him, and so he's also standing above and holding the broom, holding the rod. The Eight of Wands, and that's where there's all 8 wands up in the air. So she had all 8 broomsticks, 2 showing this way and then the 4 in the back. She got very creative by having the broomstick set on fire because this represents action. And so the Nine of Wands, there's here's actually 8 wands on the background, and he's holding one. So she used 8 broom on the back, as well as he's also holding his wand. The Ten of Wands, and so this is where he's overburdened by carrying all 10 wands. And so she had him actually sitting on the ground upholding all brooms. They both have their back towards us. Here he's sitting, here he's standing. That's about the only difference there. The Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands, here we have the person looking at the wand. So instead she had him with the broom, but he's looking towards us. The Knight of Wands, he's riding a horse. Instead he's on the front of a truck, and so he's holding in one hand the wand. Here he's holding in one hand the broom. The Queen of Wands, and they both sitting there in the center. She's holding one wand on her hand. She's holding one broom on her hand, and on the other hand there's a flower there. So she's actually holding some vegetation. There's a black cat sitting in front of her. So she did an outline of a black cat to put before her. And the last of the card will be the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, he's sitting with a wand in his hand. So she had him sitting also with a wand in his hand. Here it looks like he had his fist closed. So she also had him sit with his fist closed. They both wearing a representation of a crown. And so this was the King of Brooms, she calls it. So that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching.